As instructional leaders, we want to make sure that we're having an impact on professional practice, and we're also having an impact on student learning outcomes. And there are really two ways to gauge whether or not we're having that impact. There's quantitative measures and there's qualitative measures. Quantitatively, we can do simple things like how many classrooms are we visiting, how many teachers are we leading through a coaching cycle. We can also look at things like the growth of teachers along the continuum of self-reflection over the course of the year. Are they growing as reflective practitioners? Are they growing in their technical abilities to implement certain instructional strategies or to utilize curriculum more effectively? Qualitatively, we can also ask for feedback such as, we can ask our teachers very directly, did this have an impact in your professional practice? Has this influenced the way you think about your work on a regular basis? What is unacceptable, if we look at the is and is not, is engaging in the work and not questioning at all whether or not it's impacting professional practice, student learning outcomes, or the climate of the school. So we must take some kind of steps to gauge, is this working, to what extent is it working, and what can we do to refine that implementation. One of the things that we need to do as visionary leaders is compel folks to get on board with the mission, right? That's a question that I get a lot, is how do I get folks on board? How do I get them to buy in? And really, if we're asking them to buy in, it's because we're selling something, and we are the possessors, we are the owners, and we're selling it to somebody else. That's not what we're trying to do when we're trying to get folks to work towards a common vision. So the best way to get after this work of what I call missionary leadership is to bring all the stakeholders together and engage them in some critical thinking and some action planning and some problem of practice unpacking to figure out what is it that we really want to accomplish. And together, collaboratively, let's create that common vision. Then it's not a matter of buy-in anymore, and it's not even a matter of getting on board. It's everybody together saying, this is what we want to accomplish, let's get after it, let's do it. As instructional leaders, one of our primary focal points is encouraging our teachers to grow as reflective practitioners. And one of the mechanisms for doing that is providing the right type of feedback in the right moment. So when people ask me, do you have 3 go-to reflective questions that you ask your teachers? And my answer is no, I don't. Because every teacher needs something different, something unique, something special in that moment. So the best reflective questions are the one that's going to drive that teacher's reflective growth in that moment based on what you're talking about, what you're learning about, what you're working on, and the stage at which that teacher is currently operating on our continuum of self-reflection. For 12 years, I was a school principal, and I know what it's like to be in that cornfield, where you're always wading your way through the day-to-day minutia, the meetings, the discipline, the teacher issues, the parents, the reports, the emails. I know what that's like. And it is difficult to remember, first off, why am I doing this? What is the goal here? What is our mission? What is our vision? What are we truly trying to accomplish? So the first step in this process, in order to maintain that focus, is to remind yourself that I've got a bigger picture here than just whatever's sitting in front of me. The second thing to do is to allocate our time according to our priorities. So Covey's time management matrix in the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is one of my go-to strategies. You got quadrant 1, which are the fires, quadrant 2, which is visionary work, quadrant 3, which is the minutia, the administrivia, the cornfield, and then quadrant 4, those are the handoffs. We have to remind ourselves and intentionally allocate time in our schedule to get after that quadrant 2 work, where we engage in professional development, where we're engaging in planning, where we're engaging in building relationships, where we're clarifying our vision. That's the work that has to happen first. So just as a simple little strategy that I used to use, I thought it was clever, I would put into my calendar meetings with fictitious actors from movies or characters from shows, or athletes. So Mike Tyson or Luke Skywalker, Oprah Winfrey would be on my calendar, and I wouldn't actually meet with those people. What I was doing was setting aside 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 45 minutes. That was my time. So if I needed to visit a teacher, if I needed to conduct an observation, if I needed to go communicate with somebody, I could do that in that time because I set that time aside for me to take care of quadrant 2.